Breaking records, signed another great band here of the Carolinas and the capital city. It's Treadmill Trackstar.
TV screen. Look at the little drunk guy.
You know, there's a billion reasons why bands fail. I think in the case of Treadmill Trackstar, it really came down to the fact that we sucked and nobody liked us.
Well, besides the fact that they have a cello player, which I think is pretty interesting, this band also has a major label CD on the way.
They work very, very hard. They tour constantly, and it's a band that I've been impressed with pretty much from day one.
I remember I had seen the picture before I'd heard the music, and I remember looking at the picture and going, wow, the singer's really attractive, look at her. And they were like, no, that's the singer. And I was like, oh. I remember I went to a show and there were literally 0 people in the place. And I remember Angelo walked up to the mic and said, for those of us who don't know who we are, we're Treadmill Trackstar.
Thumbs up there.
Thumbs up. Team Treadmill. Team Treadmill. Team Treadmill.
So yeah, I managed the band from between 93 and 95. You know, it felt like being a kindergarten teacher.
Pretty heavy hitter, Joe Hardy.
Yeah.
Joe Hardy.
I mean, Joe is one of the weirdest people I've ever met in my whole entire life. And
that's saying something.
Yeah.
I always called him Treadmill Fuckstar. Horrible, horrible people. Basic misunderstanding of cause and effect. Music, no. It was more like a asynchronous cascade of sound waves. It just was cacophony. It was nothing like music as we would normally use the term.
I've been working with Treadmill Trackstar since the beginning.
Mr. John Fern from Danielle Howard and the Tantrums is going to take the stage.
And I have to say that of all the musical projects that I've done over the years, working with Treadmill Trackstar, probably my 5th or 6th favorite.
They were the best running shoes I ever had. I mean, I could run for days in those things. My feet never hurt like all those other cheap shoes I used to get. Do they still make Treadmill Trackstars? Yeah.
Who I heard?
Right now it's on.
No, the only thing is
Steve Cook was our road manager for a lot of years, and I'm not sure how we missed this when we hired him, but he actually never had a driver's license, so he could not share in driving on the road that he was managing.
Yeah, definitely tried to help them out a little bit over the years, give them a little advice, one of them being stop making everything an opera when you can't write 8-minute songs and be on the radio.
Here's a song called Steve's Opera.
I kind of don't really remember anything from that period in my life. It's like a big gap. I'm remembering a little bit. When I think about it, I think about the smell of feet. Just like foot smell.
You guys achieved success not only in Columbia and South Carolina, but around the country. And then it seemed like a few months later when you guys sent me this in the mail. And I realized how far you had come.
This isn't for Hootie, this is for Treadmill Trackstar.
It's for who?
Man, Heidi would come out there with her cello, shooting laser out of it during her solo, and then it would start smoking, and she'd come smash it up on stage while Angelo was just writhing on the floor, and broken glass and peanut butter made Guar look like the Partridge Family.
Well,
Been in the band for 10 years. We played 10 shows. Am I getting paid for this?
Well, you know, it's like it's kind of like something for the 25th anniversary. It's just kind of it's a fun thing, kind of. You know, it's just something for the band. Where are you going? Hey.
So first time I saw Treadmill Trackstar, and I thought, who are these pompous dicks from Berkeley?
25 years for Treadmill Trackstar. It seems like just yesterday they were performing to the bartender and me and like 3 other people.
I lent Treadmill Trackstar $200 to record their first EP. And I actually produced that first EP too, which means I paid them $200 to produce their first EP.
With 2.5 decades of interest, we're into Mark for well over 33 grand. And I mean, even today, every couple months, he does send some guys to remind me. And I just want to say, Mark, I do appreciate you telling him to stay away from the left hand.
They had catchy songs, they had a fantastic work ethic, they had a sound that was all their own, and yet at the heart of it was their singer, Angelo Gianni, who was playing guitar with all of these ridiculous tunings. I mean, why? Who was he trying to impress? Was he just trying to cover up for the fact that he's a mediocre guitarist?
I lived in Columbia, South Carolina in the mid-90s and played with Angelo Gianni, lead singer of Treadmill Trackstar, and a couple of projects. We started practicing and then we got the first gig, and Dan and Angelo had talked about it, and it was not a good idea to keep the band name Root Cellar. So we had no name, and it came time for us to get on the stage and play, and Angelo went up to the microphone without even a hesitation and said, yeah, thanks for coming to our gig. We are the Tadpole. That was exactly the name that he gave us in that moment. Not sure if much alcohol was in play that night. Well, later on we had a couple other names.
Let's see, there was Ben Sinister, Big Black Boot, Centipede Puss and the Hemorrhoid Buns, Pendulum, Metronome.
Hold your fire!
The best thing that I took away from Treadmill Trackstar was from a conversation I had with Angelo, I think right before I started being a tour manager for them, where we talked about living like pirates and, you know, wanting to go from the city to city and conquer and do whatever you could to get whatever you could out of it. I still try to put a little bit of that in every day.